Today I've got a broken screen on the Galaxy S20 FE, the fan edition, for those who are big fans of the S20 line but didn't want to shell out $1,000 for a device. Sadly, this device does not contain an actual fan, which would have been nice given how humid and hot it is here lately, but the air conditioning is on and this phone needs a new screen, so let's get started. The plastic back peels away easily, nothing attached here. Inside we find a typical two-part plastic midframe. The top has 9 Phillips head screws holding it down. None of them seem to have Threadlocker this time around, so they come out pretty easily. Then the top can be popped out of the housing. At the bottom we find 7 more screws holding in the bottom loudspeaker. These screws are incredibly tight and took a ton of torque to loosen. My guess is Samsung used all of their Threadlocker down there, and for some reason that only they know. Oddly enough, this is the first Samsung in a few years to use 2 differently sized screws between the top and bottom midframe, and sure enough the bottom ones are absolutely coated in Threadlocker. With some firm persuasion, the bottom loudspeaker can be popped up and out of the housing as well, allowing both pieces to come out together, connected by the wireless charging pad sticker. Disconnecting the battery is, well, that's just pretty important. Then we're safe and free to unlatch all the other Legos around it, including the thick flat main sub-ribbon cable that bridges the mother and daughter boards. The main logic board has a single silver screw securing it to the frame, right over some gold contacts for the volume and power buttons, ensuring that they always stay connected. Then free to be pulled up and out of the housing. This is the only S20 series that doesn't have their selfie camera hot glued in. Thanks, Samsung. The charging daughter board has 2 of the incredibly old school antenna wires running to it. They're routed through a special trench that's cut next to the battery crater. The itty-bitty fingerprint scanning camera can be disconnected, and a single black board screw near it holds the daughter board in place. Once removed, it can be peeled up and out of the frame. It has some light adhesive under it too. The fingerprint scanner can be walked out as well. This thing is tiny and probably has a resolution less than 1 megapixel, but it will get the job done. We've got 2 big 5G antenna bricks stuck in the edges of the frame. Those need to be moved over to the new housing. Switching to the very dirty heating mat, I'll let the battery swim in some alcohol to loosen the permanent adhesive Samsung glued it in with. Walking a metal pry tool back and forth will allow you to peel the battery out without bending it. People who say alcohol won't solve problems have obviously never repaired a phone. I'll lay down the new replacement frame. It has the screen and a few small components already attached. The coin-style vibrator gets placed down first, then covered with the charging daughter board. Now the main board can be placed into the housing, and we've got 3 antenna lines that need routing. I'll install the fingerprint reading camera in its slot, then screw in the daughter board with that single black screw. The right 2 antennas are ready for routing and connection, but the left one needs to be intertwined with the 5G block, so I'll do that one later. With all of our cables connected, it's time to press the battery back into place. Then reconnect the big flat main sub-ribbon. I'll connect the wireless charging pad and replace the single main board screw off to the left before closing this up. There are a total of 16 screws to keep the midframe tightened down. Again, it's important to make sure you don't use the wrong ones since the bottom screws are slightly longer than the top ones. This could cause damage to the components. With everything reattached and tightened down, it's a good idea to make sure this phone works before I finish it off with the back plastic panel. Looking good so far. The back is easy to line up with the cameras, and after being pressed firmly to the phone, it shouldn't lift back up without some help. This fan edition Galaxy S20 is repaired and ready to go. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.